We're rolling.
Okay, perfect. Let me get back to my agenda here. All right, welcome everyone to our Wednesday, March 16th meeting here. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:30. Roll call. Looks like myself, Council Soms, and Council Marshall. So we have our quorum, are in attendance. Do we have any citizen comments tonight? Hearing none. Moving to informational items. I do not have any informational items. Does anybody else have any informational items? Hearing none. Oh. Can we get I got a motion to approve the regular minutes of the Community Relations Committee for February 16th of 2022.
Councilor Psalm, so moved.
Any discussion, any changes?
Need a second.
I'll second that. Any discussion or changes that we need in that?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Councilor
Aye.
Psalms.
Okay, motion approved. Under old business, so we have continued discussion of residents' concerns regarding a youth and social services board member behavior. I still have not received anything, and I'm not sure if anyone else has. I know we were talking about it and that she was going to send us some emails. I think Councilor Psalms, wasn't it, from the screenshots or something?
Yep. And I haven't seen anything.
And I haven't seen anything either. So, I guess going forward, there's nothing that we know of that we can say, that we can really recommend at this point. I don't know if this is something we wanted to take off the agenda for now. I mean, obviously, her or anybody else can always, come in and if they have concerns. I mean, or is this something you feel that we should continue to keep on the agenda?
I'd suggest we take it off. You could always put it back on if she comes through with a.
That's kind of what my thought process was.
Yep.
Do we need a motion for that?
No.
Or can we just table that or take that off the
No,
agenda?
You can just remove it by consensus.
Okay. Cool, thank you. All right, there's no more discussion on that. We're going to go to number 2 on the agenda, the discussion regarding Black History Month. And with that, I'm going to hand that over to Councilor Rodriguez to give us an update.
Okay, so we started late in the month of February and we needed additional time for the due date. So we changed that to an additional 2 weeks. So that ended on March 14th. I have all of the posters and all of the essays in. I have been in contact with Crystal Whipple and Sergeant McKinney. Crystal can meet as early as this Friday to judge the posters. Sergeant McKinney, I'm still waiting to hear back from. He doesn't like to text. He likes phone calls. So once I hear from him, if he can make Friday, I'm available on Friday. Gary, how about you?
For this Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I probably could.
Okay, that's good. And then the essays, I'm going to print out and then give hard copies to everybody and we can review them over the weekend. For the winners, I was wondering, Mayor Allen, with the photographs with the winners, would it be possible if you give us a date that you're available and we can just go from school to school? That way it makes it easier on the students and the parents.
Yes, absolutely. We can visit the schools.
Okay.
You want me to grab my planner now, or we can talk tomorrow too if you want.
We can talk tomorrow, that's fine.
Okay, that's fine. I have a budget workshop, but I'll make time.
Okay, and then I do need help with if someone can just go pick up the gift cards at BAM. If not, I can do it myself, but if someone can do that, I'd be really happy. But if not, I can do that.
Was that in Waterford?
Yes.
I'd have to see. where I'm at.
And oh, regarding the money issue, yeah, the principal said that there's no problem with giving money as prizes, especially for, so I just left it as a monetary prizes for the middle school and the high school, and then the gift cards for BAM for the elementary students. Posters look really good. Essays look really good. I think it's going to be tough. But other than that, everyone seems very happy. Principals would like to see this continue for next year. And I think if we just gave them more time to let them know so they can get the word out. And if we leave it on the agenda, we could come up with something even more special for next year. And that's my report. Questions?
Just one quick one, Naomi, for me. Can you provide me a copy when you judge them on Friday? Can you provide me a copy of them? It can just be a photograph of the posters that are winners, as well as the essays, so that I can read them in advance of going to these schools.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
Oh, I'm good.
I'm good. Great work.
All right, perfect. And I would like to leave this on the agenda if that's cool with everybody. I think that maybe, over the course of the year, we can, after this is over, it would give us some time to plan something else out for next year. Like Naomi said, that would be probably, we can, change it up, come up with some different ideas. So if I like to keep it on the agenda. Any other discussion or comments?
Done.
I'm good.
Thank you so much, Councilor Rodriguez. I appreciate that. I'm going to move on to item number 3, which is discussion and possible action to develop a Community Relations Commission mission statement.
So, Mr. Chair, I was,
Gary, have you started working on one yet, or are we gonna just modify the old one?
I could barely hear that. What was that?
Are you going to modify the old statements or work on a totally new one?
Well, I think the consensus was that we were going to build around this statement that's up on the screen now, which is what Superintendent Hartley had said. Is that correct, Councilor Song?
yes, yep. But I was hoping that we would make this in the form of a motion recommending that the town of Ledyard adopt this as a statement, either the whole town or the town council. I think the mission statement would be different. This is just a support statement that I think it would be great if the town council adopted, maybe as a resolution.
Yeah, I like that idea very much. And I think as far as I think you can still use that as we go into how we're going to build the mission statement.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So it could be the preamble, and then we talk about what our mission is.
Correct.
So yeah, absolutely. It's a good start.
So if we wanted to do that, what would be the process of being able to do that to make that recommendation?
So someone on the committee, I'd be happy to, would make a motion that the town council adopt the statement as a resolution, in the form of a resolution. And then we would recommend, if we voted for it, we would recommend it to the town council, and then the town council would vote on it, discuss it and vote on it. And by that time, it would be in the form of at some point, it would be in the form of a resolution.
Right.
So we vote, then the town council votes, and it becomes a resolution.
Is that something we can make a motion now on, or do we have to add that officially to the agenda for another meeting?
I'll make it, I'll move that the town of Ledyard adopt. Let me start over. I move to recommend the town council adopt the following statement. The town of Ledyard stands with our partners and surrounding communities against the use of racist and discriminatory language and behavior, If we have any hope of eliminating such derogatory terms and behavior in our society, we must begin in our homes, our local organizations, and in our community.
I'll second that. Any other discussion on that?
I don't
Hearing
think it
none.
sounds good, Gary. Just go with that one.
Okay, all in favor?
Counselor
Aye.
Sons votes aye.
That motion carries.
Gary, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I heard you on that. Yep.
All right. I'm in my truck right now. That's why I'm asking.
Gotcha. I turned my thing up just a tick too, so I can hear you. And then just going back to the mission statement, I think now that we've done that, we can kind of use that, like you said, Councilor Psalms, as a kind of a kickoff to what we want to do. And I think that that's something that maybe in the next month or so, we can all kind of bring our ideas to the table on the next meeting, and maybe kind of make that something to where we can kind of see what this, in my opinion, if you see it that way, that we can kind of see how we feel where this is going. And I think that maybe having this other meeting tonight will kind of get us there too. As we move forward, we kind of figure out what this community relations committee in this time frame is going to be. That's my opinion.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we'll leave that on there. Any other discussion or comments?
Nope.
Then we'll move on to item number 4 on our agenda. Continued discussion and possible action to schedule public information forums to present to residents the types of services the town offers, how to access services, and the authority residents should direct concerns regarding services. I think I said that right. So I wanted to bring up that I talked to Scott Johnson for Parks and Rec, and I was also talking to Roxanne on this, and I thought this was a great idea that we start maybe with the Parks and Rec. They have a lot of stuff getting ready to get ramped up, and Scott is willing to do an informative session. He gave me some dates that would work for him, and I think that might be a real good kickoff to inform the residents on, with everything starting to get going for Parks and Rec for the spring programs and the summer programs.
Are those the only
Gary?
dates he had, Gary?
Yeah, he preferred April 11th was he wanted to prefer, because it's, I guess, Easter. I think the Easter egg hunt is the weekend after. I don't know if anyone knows that. I was there last night and I can't remember what he told me, but that's what he has for March and April. Yes.
The reason I ask is that when we did the information sessions in the past, they were actually at the time of our meeting.
Correct. And, and I said that, and
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how hard it would be, but I wanted to bring it up. I don't mind doing something like that. I think April 11th would be a Monday. I don't know, are the other ones Mondays?
I think they
They're
are.
both Mondays.
They're both Mondays. That's what I thought. I know that he's really busy too, but
yeah.
I wanted to throw that out there. I mean, obviously we can still communicate with him, but that's what and we also talked about, and again, that it would be probably behoove us too, if we were going to do that we would do it at the Parks and Rec Senior Center.
Oh, yeah, we could do that in person. Yeah, so
Right.
April 11th. Yeah, so Mondays are good for me. That's fine. So the public is kind of gotten used to participating by Zoom.
We could do that hybrid. And I asked him about that. I said, we could hold it there. And he says, we do have the ability to do a hybrid. I mean, the only difficult thing on that is he said that they only have 2 microphones.
Yeah.
So if like somebody had a question or something, somebody would have to like take the mic over, or one of us could say the question
Mhm.
and do something like that. But he's, Scott said that, he could put a nice PowerPoint together, go through the programs and the services that they offer. And I thought that would be a great, great way to kind of kick that off with everything going on. So. Any other thoughts, comments, ideas?
Yeah, Gary,
Yep.
Gary.
Yeah, I got you. I hear you.
How are we gonna let the people know that this is going on?
Well, that was going to be my next question. Well, how could we get, if we were going to do this, how are we going to let the public know?
Facebook
So
was,
their book just came out, didn't it? Their scheduled programs in it?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So in the past, Regina created a Facebook town event on the
Mhm.
town's Facebook page, and then committee members shared it on their personal Facebook page. And we could put it in
maybe
places like,
Maybe the Thames River Times would do a few articles too that would just say that these things were being held. That
Yep.
comes out once a week, so that might be an option.
that's a good idea.
And you said she put together something for the Facebook,
Regina did,
Gina?
probably working with Roxanne.
So is that something that we want to do?
Yeah, let's go ahead, let's go forward with that, Gary.
Why don't we do it April 11th, because then we'll be in hybrid meeting mode and it'll give us time to get the word out.
So we're going to have to, are we going to move our April meeting to that? Or we're going to continue to have our meeting Wednesday and make this a special meeting?
I'd be okay with both.
I don't mind doing both either.
Okay, that's fine with me, Gary.
Okay. So we would make this a special meeting,
Yep,
and in the agenda would just be the presentation from the Parks and Rec, correct?
correct.
What time?
That one, I'd have to get back to you on. He didn't give me the exact time for that, day. Is there any, that was going to be my next thing. Is there any times that don't work?
I'm open.
Counselor Marshall, any?
Yeah, I'm open. Yeah, I'm open, Gary, but I wouldn't go too late with it, because if it's too late, people might not show up.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, they get home, they get comfortable, they want to go back out again.
I'm assuming that it would, the way he made it sound, I'm assuming it would be no different than, like a meeting, 6 or 6:30 or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be best.
And that would work for everybody?
Yep.
Well, I'll be working probably, but that's fine.
I don't know how the hybrid version might work at Nathan Lester House.
Yeah,
That might need to be just plain in person. Actually, we did that last time, and Mary recalls, Mary put together that Know Your Town sessions, which is very similar to what this is. And I think we did that in the museum barn. Was that correct, Mary?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, so that would probably, so how did you try to do it Zoom? Did you mean you tried to do it through?
No, we
Before
were
Zoom.
just, it was before Zoom. And
Before
Oh, okay.
this was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And I think we did have a PowerPoint presentation set up in there.
Yeah.
But we didn't really have Wi-Fi or anything to work off of. And we probably had, I don't know, 12 to 15 people, Mary?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you can get Wi-Fi in any spots. I have that ability.
Right. I am not a fan of taking our $2,700 owl on the road.
Oh, no, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No. That thing's sensitive enough.
I think we could probably do it with laptops. I mean, basically, he's going to present a PowerPoint and he could log that laptop into Zoom. So there's Wi-Fi there, right?
I
Well, that-
believe so, but I
think
don't
so.
really.
I think Bill's talking about Parks and Rec, and I think the mayor is talking about the meet and greet with the council at the Lester House, so I don't think you're on the same
I'm
subject.
sorry.
Oh,
Right,
at-
right, 'cause
at the
right,
senior
the-
center, absolutely not an issue.
Yeah,
Right,
okay,
that, right,
right.
that's public, right, the, Parks and Rec would be there, yep, but the meet and greet, like doing that at the Nathan Lester, I kind of, but I mean, you kind of really want that to be more,
Yeah.
I don't think Zoom, I mean, that kind of defeats, I mean, you can go on any of the
Right.
meeting and say hi. I mean, the whole point of that is to actually come and meet people.
Agreed.
I agree too.
So what are some ideas or dates that would work for something like that?
That Saturday works for me. April 30th. So it's Saturday, April 30th is what
Yep.
we're seeing, John.
Yeah, Saturdays are good for me.
And the time proposed is 11 to 1.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get away with that. It's actually my wedding anniversary.
Mine too.
Really? April 30th? Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Okay, so that means you have me beat then, right? Because I'm 27 years in, I
I
think.
ain't saying.
I was trying to bait you into that one. All right, I'm just looking at my. Whoops. All right, so yeah, I'm game for that. So April 30th between 11 and 1. So are we doing are we just gonna tell people to bring coffee and
Yeah.
come meet and greet? And
Yeah. And we'd have to reach out to the historic district and Rebecca would have to have the house ready.
so is anybody willing to do that?
I'll reach out.
I can reach out to the Historic Commission. The
Awesome.
only question is, the mayor mentioned the barn and somebody else mentioned the museum. So which building do you want to use?
I think the house is cozier. I mean, I'm thinking of the, we have the Nathan Lester Yuletide thing, Christmas time. It's really nice.
Yeah, I think we could do that. I mean, weather depending, we could go in either space. And it could carry outside into the gardens too, depending on if it's a super nice day. It's just kind of a walk around, talk to people, understand your town council and your mayor's roles and stuff like that.
So, and that would be kind of cool. So, and then you would, Mayor, you could give a little, like you would give a little presentation and maybe somebody from the council would give something and talk a little bit of a formal.
Yeah, that's kind of what we did last time around, which was, it was kind of an intro to town government, how we got where we are today. And then into town council, and then it was just kind of an open discussion.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. So, and then we just gotta reach out to the other counselors, right? And ask if they'll be able to participate and come.
Quick question.
Naomi has her hand up.
Oh, yep.
Okay, I was at an event at Nathan Lester House in December and they had urns of coffee. So could we provide the coffee to the public
It'd be nice.
and bring some donuts maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to chip in for that, but I mean, I can't make coffee, but
We can
I
get
think
some
that's a
box.
good idea.
I
We can
was
get
gonna
some boxes of Joe.
That's what I was thinking, a couple boxes of Joe and some donuts or muffins or donuts and muffins, you'd be all set.
Yep.
okay.
I'd chip in.
Yep,
Okay.
I will too. Yep.
I think I have a big sleeve of Dunkin' Donuts cups in my office too that I can provide, and then all we need is the Joe, the napkins, and the donuts.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, so how many boxes of Joe you think? Maybe like 3, 4?
3 sounds fine.
Three's a good number.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't believe in decaf. All right. So that would be great. So we would call it so would you leave out the bring your coffee and just, come, coffee, meet and greet type of thing? And just leave out the bring your own?
Yeah,
Leave that out there.
that's more welcoming, I think.
Yep.
Thinking about coffee and donuts and 11 to 1. Do you want to change the time, thinking about when people typically have coffee and
Well,
donuts?
I was just thinking that, and I was just like, I was almost
Yeah.
wondering even if you backed it like an hour, or either went,
Yeah,
I mean, you could go 9 to 12, or you could go 10 to, you can go
10 to noon.
10 to noon or something like that.
Yeah,
That's probably better.
10 to noon, Gary.
10 a.m. to noon. Okay. That will be April 30th. All right, perfect. So, and then the other one was the police department, the body armor and more. Mayor, did you have a chance to talk to Chief at all about any?
No, but we actually will tomorrow. We have our last budget workshop, and he was away all last week, so we're gonna slip him into the budget workshops tomorrow, and we'll ask that question and see what he has for time to do that.
So just, I think we talked about this last month, right? But the idea was, and this was something that Chief Rich brought up, was using the new body armor and stuff to kind of have a little informational on that per se. It's just an idea rolling around to kind of base that event off of. But that's pretty much where we left it. So I don't know if that's something, probably we would, do, later on in the summer, I would imagine, if we wanted to do something like that. I don't know what anybody else's thoughts or ideas on that are.
Gary, you talking about meet and greet with the cops?
Yeah. When I talked to the chief, he's like, he was talking about, using like the new body armor that they're getting to kind of make that an informational. And that would be the kind of the talking point.
are they
Well, not
getting,
the weather's nice. We could probably do that at any time.
are they doing body armor, or are they getting new body armor, or is this for the cameras, or both?
That's what I was wondering. I wasn't sure if it was the body cameras.
Yeah,
Maybe it was, maybe he misspoke or I misspoke, but yeah, that would be it.
It's body
Yeah.
cameras.
It's the body cameras that they're coming out with. Yeah. Yep.
yeah, I don't think they like to talk too much about their body armor.
I don't think so either.
But I think it would be great if they were talking about their cameras and their dash cams.
Yeah. Yep.
Process, because I think that makes everybody feel more comfortable,
Yeah,
including the officers.
When are they getting those? Does a new?
A grant was submitted to the state. They're partially funding, so we're waiting for that to come through, and then all the cameras have to be set up and everything. So I think if you did something after June 30th, I would think they would be all in place and functional by then. The cruiser cams are now, but it would be nice to talk about the body cameras too, because you can talk about the benefit of protecting not just the officer, but the residents as well.
Yeah.
So if we want, why don't we come back with that when we have a little bit more, right, definitive information on that, and we can get some timeline on what the chief thinks and who we'd have available, and maybe it could be something to do in July or even August.
Yeah.
Chairman Paul, if I can interject.
Yeah.
Could he also, in his presentation, include how to apply to become a police officer or the route you take to become a police officer. I don't know if they have volunteers, Mayor Allen.
No, but I think your first part of that is a good suggestion, which is talking about the process of applying and the rigors that you go through physically and mentally before you even go to the academy. Then talk about the process at the academy, and then talk about the time at which they are partnered with a veteran officer before they're in the field on their own. So yeah, I think that's definitely part of it.
I would love to see that.
When I met with the chief a while back, one of our ideas was you would, like, for an example, the cameras would be more of an informative, deal that we could do anywhere, I guess. But when he really wanted to do like more of a very informal, like a almost, which I know is I don't know how we could do that, but because I don't know the logistics of it, but he kind of wanted to do something when he brought up like, have a walk with a cop or something like that. And I know the chief expressed that that's where he would like to do something like that, where he could engage, especially with the kids, and have that kind of a session where it's more about getting to know, your police officers and how to become one and what their roles are. And it would be a session just focused more on that. That's much more informal. That's what he would like to do. And that's what he expressed interest in.
Oh, so are you talking about two separate events then?
Correct. That's what
Okay.
he would like to do.
Great, thank you. That's good.
So yeah, if we did that outside and we invited residents to bring your kids and hear about the path to becoming a police officer, what it takes, and why do people do it, and all that, that'd be great. The fire companies do their open houses for the public and invite parents to bring kids, and the kids are all over that with the equipment.
Right.
Same thing with, had some cruisers there, and officers in full uniform, that their eyes would be saucers.
Right. We would just have to work out the logistics of that. Councilor Marshall, were you trying to talk?
No.
Oh, okay. I saw the thing and then I lost you.
Might be some background noise.
Gotcha. So I guess we'll continue to talk on that and come up with some ideas, and we'll get some thoughts on what the chief says.
I think maybe the echo is coming through your microphone, Marshall, John Marshall.
Oh, you got bad feedback?
Yeah, I think when we're talking, if you have us on speakerphone, that's coming back through your car phone mic.
It's *6 to mute, John. You *6 to mute, *6 to unmute.
All right, I can start 6 right now.
Let's test it.
Oh yeah, that's a lot better. All right, so we'll get a feel on that and maybe get a better idea on that for our next meeting. Does that sound for the police?
Yeah.
And then we'll work on these two events here for now. All right. Do we want to have any more discussion or questions on these, at least these two in the for the meet and greet or the Parks and Rec?
I'm good.
Okay, we'll move on to our, we kind of did here, continued discussion and possible action to identify various town venues to host informational conversations in the park to engage residents in discussions regarding their concerns and their ideas for potential solutions. I mean, in my opinion, that kind of starts with the meet and greet.
I would agree. Yeah, that's a great way to start.
And then we can, I think we can take that feedback and see how that goes to kind of further how we, what we want to do. and I would like to, even for the record, to make available that, when Counselor Soms, when you brought up, people that want to have, I think I wouldn't be opposed, I should say, to field walks in parks or meeting if people or residents brought that up and wanted to have something like that.
Yeah. It'd be really nice.
So, so if there's no other discussion there, we'll continue. Like I said, we'll use that meet and greet to kind of further that along. If there's no other discussion on that, we'll move on to item number 6 on the agenda. Continued discussion regarding the possibility to schedule joint meetings with the Mashantucket Pequot Tribal Nation. Counselor Soms, I had seen that email from you.
Yep. So Councilor Rodriguez and I met with Crystal Whipple on Friday by Zoom, and we had 3 agenda topics. One was this one, which is an informal get-together with tribal members, similar to the one we had during our initial discussions about police, food pantry, and other towns, just to see how things are going from their perspective. And we talked with Crystal about how she thought the tribe felt things were going. And we got a little bit of feedback. We also talked about doing that twice a year, just to stay in touch with each other. We talked about possibly the council and the mayor attending tribal ceremonies, swearing in their counselors, as we've done in the past. And she said she would take that back to the tribe. We also talked about organizing some sort of informal joint activity at the museum, maybe just for the committee. So that would not be the whole tribal council, but we just, the 3 of us and anybody else who wanted to attend, including the mayor, might get together with the tribe at the museum. And she was going to get some dates from them to come back to us. And then we talked a little bit about doing something over a meal, maybe it's the same thing at the museum, but maybe we bring some grinders and some food, so that when we have this informal meeting with each other, we do it over a meal, which is always productive and stimulates community, if you will. And also, I said I would reach out to I already have reached out to the 3 young people who spoke at the first Black Lives Matter. And she was going to try and reach out to them too, I believe. So really, really good, productive meeting. And she also told us that the tribal council has set up their own they call it a social justice sub-team. So they are also working on the same issues that the town council and the schools are. And she said, I think, Naomi, correct me if I'm wrong, she would have more information about that for us shortly.
Right, they're working on a mission statement and a strategic plan, and it's a subcommittee. She also said they have no complaints with the food pantry. Bill, do you want to take this one with the spiritual center and the police?
Yeah, I thought I'd take that back to the chief, see how he wants to handle that. But we did get some feedback about that, so I think I'll take that back to the chief first, and we'll go from there. But overall, I thought it was a really productive, helpful meeting, and Crystal seemed really excited about getting us more engaged with each other. Other than the council being invited once or twice in the past to tribal ceremonies and swearing in, I don't think we do anything with them. And she really wanted to see if we could promote that between the town and the tribe.
Ms. Whipple did say that because of COVID concerns,
Yes.
they had to limit the number of people that were there. And so that's why additional invitations were not sent. I did ask Mayor Allen to invite tribal council to the Linda Davis Celebration of Life ceremony.
Great.
Because I thought the invitation should go both ways.
Yeah.
So it's a start, I think, in the right direction, and hopefully it continues. But I think it's a good start.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys reaching out. We'll keep that ongoing.
Yep, good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Any other old business to come before the committee? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. Home Heating Assistance Program contact information. This is kind of something I had brought up. Obviously, you guys know I've been all my time's been spent selling oil this past winter, and I think as a community relations committee, it's important again to get the information out there. There are people struggling, and it's not just oil and energy, it can be a lot of other things. So I just wanted to, especially for the record, to make sure that we had contact. So Kristen, this is where they go to you, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And so this was the first year that I actually went to TVCCA and they trained me on their system. So I'm able to take applications right at town hall. So people can do that over the phone with me or come in and make an appointment. It goes a little quicker if they come in because there are signatures required. But,
Right.
Gary, I know you were looking for just some information. So I did communicate through various channels. I was trained at the beginning of September. So we used Facebook. So through the food pantry Facebook page, it went on, the Ledger News, the page that Regina manages, and then it was shared on the forum too. So I just pulled the stats today. So the original post I did on September 29th reached 1,890 people. So we did a pretty good job, I think, of getting the word out there this year. I also, have an email list that I maintain, for clients, for Ledger Social Services clients and folks that use the pantry. So that blast goes out to those individuals as well. And I've included that and tagged that on various emails that have gone out and on the food pantry page. So definitely next year, and actually Roxanne had showed me a nice article that East Lyme had done in their events magazine. So I'm already kind of planning for our fall issue next year in September. Hopefully maybe even doing like a half page of just, our holiday programs, food pantry, energy assistance, because people really do get a lot of their information from that events magazine. So I think we've done a pretty good job of getting this information out this year, but obviously we can always do a better job. But I have taken quite a few applications. A lot of folks are maybe already enrolled, so I don't have the numbers for the people that just went directly to TVCCA for that, but I have an appointment tomorrow, so I'm absolutely still taking appointments. I'm not sure exactly how many funds are left, but I do know they are accepting applications until May 31st. Fall funds
Correct,
are
because
available.
they will some people, TVCC, I know the program ends on the 2nd is the last day to get to have authorizations for deliveries, but
yeah.
TVCCA will actually, you can apply up to the 31st and they will actually give money to help, if you bought oil, they will help you pay those oil bills.
Yeah, and they're a wonderful organization. I don't have
are.
enough good things. They help with so many things, but I mean, they've been able to get me like emergency same day deliveries for quite a few residents this season. So they really are great to work with.
There's some good people. I don't know who you talk to. Michelle is who I talk to all the time.
Okay, yeah. And then what
really
I'd love
good.
to do too next year, because this is kind of April 5th will be, I will have been in this position for a year, but I also talked with them about we could actually do an event like at the senior center. So myself and they'll provide some staff. So we could, we can put it in the events magazine and actually do an event where people can make appointments and we can come in and spend a day processing applications next year. So I'd like to do that as well.
Cool.
Yeah, and I just wanted to put it on the record, too, like I said, because a lot of times there are people that until something like this happens, which I mean, it's hard because this went really quick. and prices just shot right up. But some people either, they don't, it's pride, or some people just don't know. So I just want to make sure too that we're all doing our part to kind of get that information out.
Yeah, and I'm
I
sure
wanna-
there's people out there that still don't know
Right.
about it. We do the best we can, but not everyone's on Facebook or,
Right.
so as many channels as we can get out to people, I think is great.
Right. So that's why I kind of wanted to get it on the agenda, just as a talking point. And again, as we go into, like you said, the next season, it's something that, we can kind of bring up and make sure people
And again,
know.
I'm still taking appointments now, so people can,
Awesome.
call me and we can do it. They can come in and see me, or we can do it over the phone. So
Yeah, it's been hard. There's, I've had people break down on the phone with me. So, I'm trying to steer them to the right places. So,
I really appreciated your post today, Mr. Chair.
on the, well,
Forum. Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I think sometimes it's just reminders, even just from us to let people know
Yeah.
that there is help, and there's no shame in that too. And we all need it sometimes. And Ledyard, I think, does a great job. And I think throughout the summer with what we're doing on the informational, we'll just kind of, I hope, will help further that too. So, so any other comments or discussion on the TVCCA?
Good work.
So we'll move on to item number 2, the Know Your Town program. Councilor Grattan, you did this.
I did. Okay, I got the idea for Know Your Town, and this is going back to 2012 from the city of New London. They had a program called the New London Academy, where they had a 12-week program where people signed up, and 12 weeks they learned all about New London city government, all about the government and the different facilities that provided this service. The town of Manchester did a similar program, except theirs was a little smaller, shorter. It was only 8 weeks. I talked to library director Gail Bradbury about my ideas, and she agreed to collaborate with me on the program. So this was not a town council project. It was Gail and I did this on our own, but we did get the okay from Mayor Rodolico at the time. And when we did it in 2019, from Mayor Fred. So not being a council project, we didn't get involved with minutes, agendas, and all of that other stuff. So that we were kind of free from that. And the library staff did a lot of the administrative work for us. In 2012, the Friends of the Library did refreshments after our sessions, and we used 2 Ledyard businesses for refreshments, Holmberg's, and at the time there was Felicia's Bakery. Both of them were on Route 12. The idea of Know Your Town, it was to introduce residents and businesses of Ledyard to the workings and locations of the town government facilities and the staff and the volunteers who make it work. It is nice to put a name with a face in case you have further questions. We were also hoping to interested citizens and residents in joining one of Ledyard's boards and commissions. Many of the functions of local government are fueled by volunteers with assistance from paid staff. And all of us are good examples of that. We started on a Sunday afternoon in the fall at the Nathan Lester House. You cannot appreciate the history of Ledyard unless you cross the threshold at the Nathan Lester House. The caretakers provided a tour and refreshments. And for instance, the Nathan Lester House is a town-owned facility, but the care and maintenance oversight is done by the Historic District Commission, with funding from the town budget. So I'll take you through some of the sessions and where we held them. In 2012, we went to the Gales Ferry Firehouse, where at the time our new ambulance was on display. And the members of the alleged volunteer emergency squad were there to demonstrate. Also that day, there was a police officer there with his cruiser, and a lot of the children got an opportunity to see the police. At that time, we had a Chinese exchange student living with us. So he was going to Ledger High School for his junior year. And I brought him and he said, we could never do this in China. This would not be allowed. In 2019, we went to the Legend Center Firehouse, and Russ Shaw, who was the administrator of emergency services at the time, Jim Mann, our fire marshal, and we had Eric Allard. Eric Allard was the president of American Ambulance. At that time, we switched from the volunteer emergency squad to American Ambulance, and he came to assure the people there that, you know, the response time was up to par and everything was working out fine. And a lot of them were seniors, and they were assured, you know, they felt good after he talked about that. In 2012, we went to the Legend Senior Center, and Karen Getchus was the administrator, who is the administrator of the Volunteer Regional Visiting Nurse Association, was there, and also the director of the Senior Center. At that time, there were many people who had no idea where the Legend Senior Center was. In 2019, we took a tour of the police station. At that time, it was new, and people were anxious to see the jail cell that was in the basement of the building. Chief Rich gave a talk on, I'm going to call it non-traditional policing, and one of the officers took everybody around to see the building. Since there was a large number of people who signed up, we had to do it in 2 sessions. Another time we went to the town hall, and the town clerk opened up the vault, and we saw a lot of the older minutes, and she told us about all the services that they provide to the townspeople. Registrar of voters were there at another time. We went to the land use department, and Elizabeth Burdick, who was the director at the time, discussed the department, and she told us just what you needed permits for. They provided a lot of information. We went to the Bill Library, and Gail and Lisa Murno, who's the assistant librarian, discussed the library's online resources, the downloadable books, and other library programs. We also did this in 2012. Andrea Buca, who's the archivist of the Janice Bell Local History Room, gave a tour and an overview of the contents of the room. Another time we went to the Board of Education building, and the superintendent of schools, both Mike Grenier at the time and Jay Hartling, discussed the Legend school system. In 2019, we went back to the senior center, and Scott Johnson, who is now the director of Parks and Rec and over the senior center, talked about the restructured senior center, the recreation department, and Karen Getchus, who has taken on the role of municipal agent, discussed the health services available through the town. And we tried to cover as much as possible, you know, wanted to introduce people and show them where all the different facilities were. And so that's it. But I thought of it when the last Community Relations Committee talked about introducing the townspeople to the different services. So That's it.
It's a lot of work you guys did.
We did. We did. We did.
And I think that we're kind of doing that in some way, except, again, we have to follow, with our agendas, and
Sure.
everything else. But I mean, I think that's kind of what we're trying to do. And I think consolidating some of that program into what we're trying to do, in my opinion, would work pretty well. I mean, I think that's what we're kind of our goal is.
Mhm. Okay.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
Any other comments on that or discussion on that?
So it's 3 years later. We could do some of these things again.
Yeah, 2019, in the fall of 2019 is when we did
Yeah.
the last one.
But again, I think I think this, like the meet and greets and getting that stuff going
Yeah,
really,
right, yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean, I would love to do like say a town hall day,
yeah.
Things like that. I mean, a lot of things you come to mind. I think that's really cool what they did. Again, I don't know if that's a lot of work they did. I think that would be kind of neat to kind of follow some of that guideline and try to incorporate that as we move forward.
I
Doing it in
must
person.
confess, we were hoping to get more people. We didn't get as many as I thought we would. And we certainly did a lot of advertising. We had flyers and, but you take whoever comes.
Right.
Yeah, the police station was the single biggest draw.
Yes,
I
yes.
bet.
I would say it was probably planning and zoning that was the smallest draw at that point. There were, I think, maybe 2 or 3 people at that one.
No, actually, I think they were interested in the maps. I'm not sure,
See,
but,
my idea would be
certainly
if
the
we're
firehouse
gonna,
attracted a lot of attention.
I think too, if you, like for an example, if you did like a town hall day or something like that, where,
Well, you could
No, but-
capture a lot of people that way.
right, and then you could kind of just go through the town
Yes.
hall and I don't know exactly how we could do it, but
Yeah,
to
well,
bring them
that's
around to the
that's how
different
we did it.
departments and
One of the times, that's what we did.
Yeah. meet people and this is where you go for type of thing.
Yes, yes. That was the idea of it.
Remember Susie Mendenhall used to have a volunteers appreciation day on a Saturday on the town green. You remember that? Anyone? This is like, I don't know, 2008, maybe earlier.
It was something I've aspired to do for years now, which was have a like a wood-fired pizza truck there and have the food there so that the volunteers can enjoy it instead of bringing stuff, making stuff, exactly, working it instead of working it, actually going and enjoying it. And we keep hoping that one of these years we can actually pull that off.
They used to do dinners for volunteers, but I think it got maybe too expensive.
Right. When I first started with the town back in 1996, when Wes Johnson was mayor, they used to do a volunteer appreciation program. And they did a variety of things. At one time, when we had the Norwich Navigators, they gave them tickets to the games, and they did other things like a barbecue cookout in the town hall parking lot. They did different things, but that council contingency line that's in the budget oftentimes was used to help fund that volunteer appreciation day. And back then we did have a community services committee, and they worked with the mayor's office to facilitate the volunteer appreciation day and to come up with whatever idea, like the mayor just mentioned, a pizza truck day, or, hot dogs and hamburgers, or whatever it is that you all decided that you wanted to do. Then through budget cuts and other events, that sort of just went away.
It's a nice idea.
This is almost over. Go ahead, go to bed. Forget me.
Right, well, any other comments or discussion?
Nope, good meeting.
All right, any other new business to come before the committee? Hearing none. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
So move.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
All
thank
right.
you, everybody. I appreciate
everybody.
it.
Great.
And
Everybody.
next time we'll be in person. And of
Yeah.
course, we'll be in person on April 11th too.
Sounds good.
Thank
Got
you,
it.
everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.